That was the NFL's way of making it very official that Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny will headline the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Big deal. That move has drawn the ire, though, of some conservatives online. Many are attacking Bad Bunny over his criticism of ICE and President Trump, as well as most of his songs not being performed in English. We're going to get some clarification on that, as well as other pop culture and political fault lines that have erupted over this with CBS News political analyst and Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez, who has spent most of her career navigating the Latino Republican coalition lines and formations. And you have a lot of insight here. So I want to know, how important is it, A, for Bad Bunny to get this?
Yeah.
And what do you make of the reaction to it online from some in the MAGA world?
Well, I think we have to look at the fact that the NFL didn't book Bad Bunny for its heritage. They booked him for the math and the growth, the chart, the market share. He is a global phenomenon. And it's something we talked about at CBSN 5 years ago. We pointed out the fact that this type of music, whether it was reggaeton or trap, was really seen as something that was growing in Latin America, in Mexico, in Spanish. And in the United States, in 2016, there were 5 songs that were predominantly Spanish on the top 100. A year later, there were 19. And now if you look at the rise of that, there's this kind of consternation, I would say, certainly among my colleagues, my conservative colleagues on the right, who say, well, how can you have songs in Spanish dominating U.S. charts, American football? Why would that even happen?
People want. I mean, they're buying it. It's their choice.
It is a global rage. And if you think about the fact that the NFL is trying to expand internationally, and their second biggest market is Latin America, but now they're in Madrid for the first time. They're growing all over Europe. The third most streamed global artist in the world is Bad Bunny.
Right. And so how about the President Trump of it all, the ICE of it all, not having dates in the United States for fear that there could be ICE actions, enforcement or otherwise? Doesn't have any concerts here. Endorsed Kamala in 2024. What about all that?
Okay, if we try to frame the NFL halftime show in a political narrative, it's going to make a lot of conservatives upset. He's not speaking English. They would say he was against the president. But have we put that type of test against any other performer for a halftime show, that entertaining show? If you go back, I mean, who would be Lee Greenwood, and Jason Aldean? I would love that if you want to appease the conservatives on the right. But if you're looking at global numbers, the NFL sees that and sees, who their audience is.
And very quickly, Bad Bunny might also have some other folks on stage. That's sort of been the trend line for the last 3 or 4 years. You're the headliner and you bring a bunch of other folks up there.
He was on stage in 2020 when J-Lo and Shakira performed in the halftime show. But when you're talking about language, I think the part people get, we cannot be so indignant on the right when we want to mirror that on the left and say that we can't just call things out because we don't like them. I think it's a bigger phenomenon that brings people together. And we got to look at the business of the NFL expansion and our dominant sports industry versus just the language and the political choices of someone who's become just incredible.
And the Super Bowl is a melting pot of culture, sports, and commerce.
Thank gosh that we don't ask how they vote.
Thank you for that perspective.